Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ibnul Haytham, the father of modern optics, written by Abdul Hamid I. Sabra, the renowned Arab mathematician and scientist Abul Ali Hassan bin Abdul Hassan Ibnul Haytham was born at Basra, Iraq in 965 Common Era. Sometime after he had achieved fame as a scholar, he was induced to move to Cairo by the Fatimid Caliph Al-Hakim, who died in 1021 Common Era. Possibly the Caliph, who is known to have patronized the great astronomer Ibn Yunus, who died in 1009 Common Era, simply wished to add a luminary to his court. According to one report, however, Al-Hakim heard that Ibnul Haytham had a plan for regulating the waters of the Nile and summoned the scholar to Cairo for the specific purpose of putting this plan into effect. On his way to Aswan, at the head of a group of workers, Ibnul Haytham began to have doubts about his scheme. The ancient Egyptian buildings he observed on the bank of the Nile were so impressive that he realized that his plan, if it were at all feasible, would have been carried out by the capable engineer who had designed and built them. His fears were confirmed when he inspected the place to the south of Aswan called Al-Janadil. Here he had expected to see the water descend from a high ground, and he found that he had been mistaken. He now had to break the bad news to the Caliph. His apology was accepted without penalty, and he was even put in charge of a government office. Ibn al-Haytham, however, did not feel safe in his new position, being so close to the eccentric and unpredictable Al-Hakim. To be relieved from his duties without appearing to be disloyal, he feigned madness until Al-Hakim's death. He then left the house to which he had been confined and moved to the Azhar Mosque, where he resumed his activities as an author and teacher of mathematics. According to one story, he earned his living by copying a number of basic mathematical works, including Euclid's Elements and Ptolemy's Almagest, once a year. He died in Cairo about 1040 Common Era. The preceding account, derived from a 13th century source, suggests that Ibn Haytham spent much of his later life in loneliness, either as a pretended madman or as a recluse leading an ascetic life in a kubba, a small domed structure at the gate of the Azhar Mosque. This impression is counterbalanced, however, by other scattered bits of information that indicate that he traveled a great deal and had contact with other well-known scholars of his time. He tutored the young prince Al-Mubashir bin Fatih, who died about 1050 Common Era, in mathematics and astronomy, and exchanged questions on the Milky Way and on place with the Egyptian physician Ibn Rizwan, who died in 1051 Common Era. Two lists of Ibn al-Haytham's work that were compiled by the author himself have been preserved by Ibn Habib Usaybiya, who died in 1270 Common Era. The first list, written when Ibn al-Haytham was 63, contains 25 titles on mathematics and 45 titles on physics and metaphysical questions. These works include discussion of Euclid, Apollonius, and Archimedes, as well as commentaries on the philosophical work of Aristotle and on the medical works of Galen. Some are devoted to questions of Islamic theology. The second list, written 17 months after the first, contains 21 titles covering roughly the same range of subjects as the first. More than 60 works of Ibn al-Haytham are now known to be extant, and most of them are included in a third list, which also was preserved by Ibn Abi Usaybiya. Ibn al-Haytham's most important contributions were in the fields of optics, astronomy, and mathematics. His most important single work is the comprehensive Kitabul Manazir on optics. Until the revival of optical research in Persia towards the end of the 13th century, Ibn al-Haytham was mainly known to the Islamic world as a mathematician and as an astronomer, but his best known and most influential work in Europe was the optics. It was largely on the basis of this book that George Sarton described Ibn al-Haytham as the greatest Muslim physicist and one of the greatest students of optics of all time. The only text in print is of the medieval Latin translation, but there is a first-rate analytical study of it in Arabic by Mustafa Nazir. Other extant works by Ibn al-Haytham on optical subjects include On the Light of the Moon, which argues that the moon shines like a self-luminous object, though its light is borrowed from the sun. On the Halo and the Rainbow. On Spherical Burning Mirror. On Paraboloidal Burning Mirror. On the Burning Sphere, and on the Shape of the Eclipse, which examine the camera obscura phenomena. Although Ibn al-Haytham's achievements in astronomy do not equal those of the best astronomers in Islam, his extant work show that he had mastered the technique of Ptolemaic astronomy. Some of these works also reveal his ability to deal in a more than ordinary way with the standard problems that received attention from Arabic astronomers, such as the problem of determining the Qibla, that is, the direction to be faced in prayer. A critic of Ptolemaic planetary model as presented in Ptolemy's Al-Majid and planetary hypothesis appears to have inside research that led to their replacement by non-Ptolemaic arrangement in the 13th century Maratha and 14th century Damascus. The only one of his astronomical treatises known to the medieval West was on the configuration of the world, in which the Ptolemaic planetary theory is described in terms of transparent physical bodies whose combined motion produce the apparent motion of the planet. The treatise was translated several times into Hebrew and Latin and has been shown to have influenced Renaissance astronomers. Ibn al-Haytham secured a notable place in the history of mathematics by his treatment of the problem now bearing its Latinized name, Alhazen. This problem is discussed in the mathematical section of his Optics. More than 20 other mathematical treatises of his have also survived. Some of these deal with Euclidean problems. For example, solution of the difficulties in Euclid's element and commentary on the premises of Euclid's element. Others deal with quadrature problems, for example, on the quadrature of the circle and on luminous figures contained between the arcs of the two circles. Still, others are on properties of conic section. There is also a long treatise on the methods of analysis and synthesis, with illustrative application to geometry, astronomy, and music. In a short, not very informative autobiographical note appended to his first bibliography, Ibn al-Haytham wrote that at an early age he was perplexed by the plurality of sects and beliefs. Convinced that the truth was one, he doubted them all. Later on, when he was more capable of rational thought, he made it his aim to seek the essence of truth. After much study, he came to the conclusion that truth could only be reached through opinion, whose matter was sensible and whose form was rational. Though this does not tell us a great deal, it is in keeping with what we know of Ibn al-Haytham's strikingly empirical approach, and it is consistent with his abiding interest in the mathematical sciences. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.